Have you ever heard that social media sites have blue backgrounds because blue makes you feel calm? Or have you read on some pop psychology site was wearing red a job interview will make you more confident? The internet is full of sketchy facts and rumors about colors psychology in the idea that certain colors can change mood or influence decisions. But what does the science have to say? Like a lot of things in physiology, the answer isn't crystal clear. Color might affect our perception and maybe even our behavior, but not always in a predictable way. And when it comes to why the jury is still out, one of the most famous examples of color psychology gone wrong is Baker Miller pink. In the late 1960s, the researcher named Alexander Schultz began investigating whether certain colors could actually cause your body to have a biological response. After doing some experiments, including a few on himself, he began to believe that exposure to color pink has a calming effect, causing a lowering of heart rate and blood pressure, and even weakening muscle strength. Schultz was to find a shade of pink that was most effective and believed the color could do wonders in breathing. He convinced a nerve coordination facility run by Rene Becker and Ron Miller to paint a holding cell that color, which came to be known as Baker Miller. As these presents incoming images were thought to be especially, but after 5 months of using the pink holding cell, there has been zero violent disruptive incidents. The officers were convinced that the pink paint worked and were even more impressed. Because all it seemed to take was 50 minutes of exposure. So and others later tried to show that Baker Miller pink has a physiological effect on people and that the color could be a calming force in the other reasons. But those studies don't really hold up when you look at how they were done. For one thing, the science didn't split up the prisoner randomly and put half pink rooms and the other half in, say, white room. Instead, they simply compare the amount of violence in the first year, when they were what worse, to the following year when things were painted pink. Carefully cultural experiments have referred to find that Baker Miller pink is, as Schultz claimed, tranquilizing. But that doesn't mean that color doesn't matter at all. Consider experiments done in 2012 in the Netherlands with people using poker chips. When poker players were given red chips, they bet more and were more competitive. When asked how they were feeling during the game, they report feeling stronger. Players using white or blue chips, on the other hand, tend of. So color doesn't seem capable to change feelings and behavior. But that raises the question of why? Is that because red has some sort of biological effect on people when they are playing poker? Or is this people learn to associate certain meanings with certain colors because of their cultures? Red might have an emboldening effect on a select group of Dutch people, as seemed to be the case in the poker study, but not on people in Japan or Kenya, for example. And even then, the associations that we make with a color at a poker table won't necessarily apply to your wardrobe. You probably have your own personal association with red too. So something about color matters. The challenge for psychologists today is to figure out how and why color affects us, while avoiding its mistake of the Pacamela pink part. Avoiding does mean improving researcher method, including by being more careful about what we mean by colors. When we talk about color, we usually think about hue or wavelength or red, say versus a blue. But there's also how rises and how instance and varies this. In the past, most researchers have varied all the elements at the same time, making it really hard to interpret results. So even though we can't say that a certain color will make you happier or less violent, color can influence our feelings and alter our behavior. We just not sure exactly how or why.